Hello, this is Vix's Prime, and so now there's my thoughts on the 10th batch of zoopedia trees. And the thing I'll start with what I think so far, the most surprising return for me, the black wildebeest. Yes, really, the black wildebeest is making a comeback to play Zoo 2. Yeah, we've got both species of wildebeest at war. Surprising. I think it's just gonna get overshadowed by the boo. It would be far more iconic and all common in captivity. I mean, the model looks like improvements. There's actually some better detailing going on. But I thought that the black wildebeest would make it at all big. Yeah, like I said, it's overshadowed by the blue wildebeest entirely, and it's the least popular antelope in the first game. So I definitely feel like it should have. If they really wanted to have both species of wildebeest in the game, I feel like they should have had the black wildebeest be saved for a DLC or free update to a different species of antelope, just for this, to get a bit more variety in the antelope roster. There we got, another butterfly confirmed. So it seems like all the bosses in the first game are making it in, even though the Monarch is the only one that's and the Carlos Sulfur is I think my least favorite butterfly from the first game. I feel like it's probably the least accurate, the most boring species. Go. And then we two fish that we could to the game. Got the clown triggerfish, which I will say I think that's definitely a fish that definitely a very recognizable fish and just very common in captivity. It's a well-known species of trigger. And as good as this is one fish in Panzer 2. One more central ones. And now we got the beavers, and with the exception of the Chevalsky's horse, they were only so much already seen the models have their zoopedia entries now. We're still looking to the North American beaver model, even if I think it should be darkened, but it's interesting that's actually called the Eurasian Beaver Planet Zoo 2. Now, I think that's a very surprising choice when it was revealed. Then we have the giant tiger lance now, another return exhibitor. Or I think one that I felt was a bit. So I think should have been given a new model. I think especially since the main body is the wrong color. It's brown here when in reality it's supposed to be grey. But I know that the giant tiger is one more a base game exhibit animals, being the only mollusk in the first game, the only vertebrate that isn't an arthropod. And just like in real life, it can actually go on the glass. And there we have another surprising return of the null monitor. So, which just like the black wildebeest, which got overshadowed entirely by a similar DLC animal, it was pretty overshadowed entirely by the Asian water monitor, which was more accurate in comparison, more common in captivity, I think slightly more well known, and it actually deep dives. But so I've got the null monitor back, so I think that Zelsen can have a rept that you could put in the Africa Reserve. I think they should have had no crocodile served that role. No monitoring. It's not that common in captivity. And again, that it's notable for being the largest African lizard, but I think they should have gone for else. But I'm putting that aside. I'm actually very impressed by the model. It is a massive upgrade. I think it's definitely one of the best remasters so far. Might be my favorite one actually. Yeah, I mean, it just pretty much looks like the real thing, and actually to got a don't actually think looks spot on to its real counterpart, and I don't really get that vibe with any of the reptiles of the first game. Even I think some of the best ones, there's some slight some minor inaccuracies. But yeah, I'm happily it can actually deep dive just like the Asian Suhan travels. I think it actually looks even better than the Asian Water Monitor. So that's great to know that it's actually the model is so much of improvement. Again, would have preferred something else, but there we go. And then we got the other fish that was confirmed, the sailfin snapper, which I think is more of an occasional sighting at best in captivity. It looks very accurate here. I think I probably would have gone for a different fish, and I think I would have preferred to have found a fresh first rather than yet another resident of the Indo-Pacific. There we go. And then finally we got the animal that was teased last week, which at this time most people actually correctly guessed what it was. It was indeed a pangolin. However, rather than going for the Chinese pangolin, which was in the first game, I've actually gone for the Sunda pangolin, also known as the Javan pangolin, which, what I found, while it's not as widespread as the Chinese pangolin, which can actually be found in a few zoos outside of Asia, even if they're in Europe. The Sunda pangolin is more common. There are more places that keep the Sunda pangolin, so let's keep the Chinese. Or in Asia. So I guess this is probably the most commonly kept species of pangolin. The model looks very impressive. It's on a tree. It's cool. And pangolin is an animal that needs to be too much launch. I mean, I get that, so those for the most rare on the wild, but they're not the rare sights in captivity because of how difficult they are to look after. But in pangolins. So there we go. That's all that's how to say about the zoo. So it's one of the more interesting batches. A lot of surprises. I was I don't think anyone would expect the black wildebeest and the monitor to come back. But they got much better models than they did in the first game. And things great at the clownfish. So on the fish outlaw, so got and now the rest of the house that kept revealed. So from the Chevalsky source, and that was teased. Go to entirely new. It's good to confirm. Of the zoopedia bench. So it's probably revealed. And then so I don't think that the so apparently was a nice surprise. Now it's time to check with it's a prediction to this. So I got both want to be senator, which is interesting. Yet call this over. Another bot of the confirmed list. The giant tiger lands now. Another giant exhibitor. More. And the non-monitor. So I think that's all that to say. So it's all have mixed.